Insects. They're very brutal. No compassion.
Hello everybody! As you might have guessed, today I am going to be using the other useless bug from Gen 3. In my opinion, this one is not as bad. First off, it actually learns a decent offensive bug move in Signal Beam, and more importantly, it's the only Pokemon who can learn Tail Glow. Don't you think that makes Volbeat special? He has to follow the same rules as every other Pokemon I have used. So I can only use it in combat, I can't use items in combat, I can't raise my evasion, and I can't use cheats or glitches. Even if Volbeat has a lot more physical attack, because of the fact that it learns Tail Glow, I will definitely go for a more special moveset for the endgame, and so I chose a modest nature. I know it lowers my attack, but I should not need it as much as the defenses. Let's all ignore the fact that I could have lowered his speed instead, since this thing is already more than fast enough. Anyway, the first few fights are not that different from Illumis. The only variance is that this bug starts with Confuse Ray, which is better than whatever Illumis had. I could have just spammed Tackle, that would have been enough, but I used Confuse Ray a bit just to mix things up. Between Illumis and Volbeat, which one of those bugs do you think will end the game at a lower level, and which one will have the smaller amount of resets? Leave your guesses in the comments below. The grunt takes a little longer than usual because of sand attack, but it's not a problem. After his Pokemon is defeated, we have to take on Roxanne. I was feeling a bit overconfident and tried her at level 21, but I got kinda destroyed. After gaining a few levels, I learned Signal Beam. I thought that bug was resisted by both rock and ground, so I was not expecting to obliterate the Geodudes. Yay, no 5 minutes fight this time. Once we have obtained the first badge, I rescued Pico and spoke with the president. I wanted to challenge May because I hoped she would offer more of a challenge. Unfortunately, that was not the case, so in a few hits her team falls too. Now we have to proceed with the next gym, who is run by Brawly and his fighting types. They resist bug, so I was unsure whether to use quick attack or signal beam. After a moment of thinking, I realized that my signature move was slightly better. Kinda unfair that Brawly has a citrus berry, 30 HP is a lot for this point in the game, but after Makuhita eats it, he dies too. After we leave the island, one badge richer, it's time for more grunts. Those guys are not really a problem. I can take care of their Carvanas very easily with the signal beam. Unfortunately, Zubat is quad resistant to bug, so I have to switch to quick attack. The bat is not very strong, so it too dies in one hit. After dealing with both the grunts, we have to chat a bit with Archie and then the captain, before we can start the next rival fight. Not going to lie, I thought this fight would be a bit easier than what it turned out to be. While her first and last Pokémons are not a problem, the starter is another story. Combustion crits me with Ember and does a lot of damage. At least I did not get burned, otherwise I think I might have died. After May, I bought the Thunderbolt TM from the casino, so I can finally start using Tail Glow. For Watson, I used Tail Glow twice, thinking that it is a +3 to special attack, like it is in the newer generations. But then, when I attacked the Magneton, the damage seemed off. After double checking on Bulbapedia, I found out that it is only a +2 in Gen 3 and 4. It is still a great move, don't get me wrong, but I will have to use it 3 times for the later fights. Hopefully that extra turn will not be the death of me. Watson was not that bad after all, and so we can move on to the first of many fights against Team Magma's leader. He is a bit more scary, mostly because of Camerupt. He resists bug and is immune to electric. I maybe should have thought secret power, but I forgot to pick it up and did not want to backtrack. I'm lazy like that. I shouldn't be though, because I get very lucky since I did not get burned. That would have cut my attack in half, which would be very bad. I had to heal with Moonlight because my HP is getting dangerously low. Once the volcano goes down, we are safe since Zubat has no chance against Thunderbolt. That was a bit too close for comfort, and since the next gym leader also has a Camerupt, I used the Thief TM of all things, because Dark is special in this game, and it will get boosted with Tail Glow. Unfortunately, I lost once against her because she has a very strong fire move and she also got a crit. That was painful for Volbeat. In the second attempt, I again set up to +6 against her lead, but like earlier, even with all the buffs, Thief is not enough to defeat Camerupt. She takes advantage of that to use Attract on me, which I did not expect. After it goes down, the hard part is over because Thunderbolt takes care of Turkle. That was not as bad as it could have been. I got a bit lucky, so I only lost once. In similar fashion, Norman, our dad, also took us out. I know Spinda has Teeter Dance, and so setting up in front of it is risky, but the rest of his Pokémons do too much damage, and since I have removed Moonlight, I can't heal mid-battle anymore. Once I reached +6, I started the sweep, but it got stopped short by his ace, because apparently even at +6, one Thunderbolt is not enough to get rid of the huge slot. This time I have enough HP left to get through the fight, so we can move on with the game. Next we have another rival match against May. Her team improved a bit, but the only dangerous Pokémon on her team is the starter. Unfortunately for her, since near the Weather Institute there is natural rain, so his fire moves will not be as effective. I think it still has Peck, but it is clearly a very poor choice for her. I also have a neutral special move, so it would have been somewhat easy anyway. Once we are done with that, we can start the Flying Gym, whose leader is Winona. This fight plays out a bit differently compared to when I did it with Illumis. As usual, I removed Swablu, the threat, but then she sends out Tropius. Since it can't do all that much damage to me, I take the time to use Tail Glow, so that the next Pokémons are all a one-shot. Skarmory and Pelipper would have been anyway, but Altaria is always scary if she starts setting up a few Dragon Dances. Now that we have her badge, I took the time to travel a bit further and challenge May in front of them all. This fight against her is not that great. I tried doing her without using Tail Glow, but since my damage is not very great, I changed my mind. Used it 3 times and then swept everything with Thunderbolt. Nothing on her team resists it, so this should be a clean sweep. Once again, I forgot to grab Giga Drain before this fight, but at least I remembered to do it before moving on with the story. Next up is the second fight against Maxi. This time we get to him too late, so he has just the time to wake up the legendary before starting the fight against us. The last time we fought him, it was quite close. This time it's not the case. While using Tail Glow is risky, I have managed to use it all 3 times without getting punished even once. From here I can take it out in a few turns with the Giga Drain, and then Thunderbolt takes care of the Crobat. After Maxi goes down, there is some time before the next gym, but since I was feeling very confident with the Tail Glow and a decent moveset, I decided to not grind against trainers and start Tate and Liza soon. Once again, Claydol AI broke and it just kept spamming Earthquake over and over, so I had the time to use Tail Glow a few times. Unfortunately, the Xatu sort of matched my boost with the Calm Mind, but since my move is faster, after I reach max boost, I used Thunderbolt to take it out. I took quite a bit of damage while I was boosting, but it's nothing a good couple of Giga Drains can't fix, so soon enough we are done with this gym in no time at all. So far Volbeat is doing quite well, but you never know when you will hit a wall and reset 50 times. Fortunately for us, the next fight is not a wall at all. The double fight with Steven is quite easy actually. This time, unlike with the meteors, I took the time to boost, but even at +2, I can't one-shot the Mightyena, who retaliates with Taunt. You don't see that move very often. It was a great play on their part though. Until the effect is on me, I am not going to be able to boost anymore. It's not the end of the world for me, because I still do good damage. Sure, I can't one-shot them, but it's not like they can do all that much damage to me, thanks in part to the screens that Metang kindly used. Now that I am re-watching it while writing the script, I noticed that I did not take a single point of damage in the whole fight. That is kinda impressive. After defeating their last Pokémon and giving them the time to clear their minds, we can use the Dive HM to go to the seafloor, where we have to stop the leader of the other evil team of the game. Unfortunately for Archie, I have at least one super effective move on all his Pokémons, but that did not stop him from trying. Crobat leaves a hit and confuses me. Since my luck is not the best, I ended up hitting myself a couple of times in confusion, and that made it a lot closer than what I would have ever expected. Still no resets though, so I will take it. As usual, defeating him does not save the world, because the blue orb activates anyway, and you all know how it goes from here. So why, instead of watching the same thing for the 100th time, you don't take a second to leave a like as well as a subscription if you are enjoying the content. Once I'm done shilling, we can start the last kingdom, gym, and Juan is not somebody I'm worried about. While it's true that Kingdra gave me some trouble with Illumise, if I have the time to set up, it should die to one Thunderbolt. It just so happens that Whiscash comes out second. I thought he could not do anything, but then I got confused by a random water pulse and almost lost because of it, since I hit myself like 3 times in a row. At least I got a crit to balance out the RNG, so I'm not going to be mad about it. The worst of it is behind us. I misclicked against Kingdra and used a Giga Drain by accident. That does not kill, so he uses rest, but the next turn I fixed the problem with some electricity. With that, we are done with the gym challenges and can start the journey to the league. As usual, we have to start with the victory route, where Wally comes up and wants to fight us. I tried setting up against Altaria, and I have to admit that was a disrespectful move. Wally thinks so too and takes away half of my HP with a crit. Since they do not have any other super effective move on me, I did not bother using more tail glows. Well, let me tell you, that was a big mistake. As usual, I underestimated the power of Roselia, or to be more precise, Leech Seed, and without the boost, it took me a very long time to defeat his last few Pokémons. And so, those damn seeds kept taking away more and more of my HP every turn. I was starting to lose hope, but once Gardevoir came out, I decided to use Giga Drain to recover a sliver more HP. I then switched to Thunderbolt and got the kill, but that was way too close. After all of that, we can finally start the league. This time I decided to not use rare candies, or at least not at the start. Against Sidney, I can use Tail Glow to boost, or I can try going for Signal Beam, since it is super effective on his whole team. Ultimately, I went for a mix of the two strategies. I tried setting up against Absol, but he also sets up, so this got very scary all of a sudden. Thankfully, he dies before attacking me, and against the Grass Dark Pokémons, Signal Beam does the job very well. I am glad I did not take any damage, since I might have forgotten to buy potions before entering. Then Pheobe happened. So far, the fact that I don't have a very high special attack stat did not matter much, but here, even after 2 uses of Tail Glow, 1 Thunderbolt is not enough to defeat the Dusclops. Thankfully, it does not use Curse, and while she heals, I can use the last Tail Glow. So now we are fine, right? Yes, we actually are. This time I'm not going to pull a switcheroo. With his special attack maxed out, Volbeat can sweep through the rest of Phoebe's team. Not sure why her AI does not use curse all the time. I guess she does not realize that I only have one Pokemon. Glacia is easy, I can boost against her lead. Lately I have been risking paralysis from a body slam, and it's been a while since last time Celio caused a reset, so I have played a bit safer. I took quite a bit of damage against Glalie and risked more freezes, but nothing bad happened and I can just regain my lost HP by using Giga Drain against her multiple water types. Eventually, I can use the third Tail Glow against the second Glalie. It took long enough, but at least the two remaining Pokémons are a one-shot, so this one is over too. After I spend a long time watching Volbeat sprite flash when I take hail damage. Once we took care of Glacia, we have to take on Drake, who is by far the strongest member of the Elite Four. As usual, the problem here is a Rock Tomb from Shelgon. I started boosting in front of him because I know he likes to use Protect. I then deal good amount of damage, but I can't kill. After a bit of back and forth, I reached +6, but he also lowered my speed by one stage. I was tempted to reset immediately, but that would have been a very bad idea because I forgot that Volbeat has good speed, so even after a drop I can outspeed some of his Pokémons. The rest of the fight was hard fought, with most of his Pokémons having a super effective move on me, while I had to make do with just neutral ones. There were a couple of close calls through the journey, but thanks in no small part to the Tail Glow boosts, I had enough damage to push me through his giant dragons. At last we have Wallace, and once again I had to sacrifice a life to him, but I learned an important lesson. Apparently Ludicolo leaves a +6 Thunderbolt no problem. The next attempt started as the last one, with me trying to set up against Wailord. It's not so easy to do, because he can do a lot of damage with Water Spout, even if he does not have that much HP left. After just barely getting the boosts off, I can get on the offensive. Thankfully, I don't have to worry too much about my HP, since I can recover with the Giga Drain against a few of his Pokémons. This time, when I came face to face with the Ludicolo, I switched to Signal Beam, and it somehow managed to get a clean KO on the dancing Pokémon. After him, the fight is a lot easier. I can recover a lot with the Whiscash, and I don't think the Milotic has enough defenses to stall me. I have been wrong before, but not this time. So with a bit of electricity, I can defeat Wallace and become champion myself. Even if Volbeat had a more rocky start, the last stretch of the game was much easier for him and surpassed Illumis as it should be. Thank you for watching, leave a comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and all of that YouTube stuff. See you next week. Bye!